Imagine Tetris, but with a Settlers of Catan theme, and then you add in roguelite and deck building elements. Drop Duchy alters as much as it takes inspiration from the Tetris formula with a very unique take on the geometric block dropping gameplay that was catapulted into the mainstream in the late 80s. The biggest weakness of Drop Duchy is that it lacks the addictive and engaging gameplay loop that roguelite and deck building games thrive on. However, gameplay feels great, the minimalist art style is charming, and there is a deep level of strategy to master. Before jumping in, we just want to take a few seconds out of your day. If at the end of the video you enjoyed it, subscribe and see more like it. If you're already subscribed, all I ask is that you turn on notifications, as this will drastically help the algorithm when we post new videos. Video games is a positivity-first gaming outlet. We believe that gaming should be a force for good. We focus on making uplifting content with constructive discussions and celebrating what makes games great. The premise of Drop Duchy is fairly simple to what everyone is already familiar with dating back to 1989. Try to line up blocks on the grid as they drop down into place and get rewarded for creating lines. In Tetris, you are trying to make lines disappear, and in Drop Duchy, you're trying to align blocks that are synergistic, such as aligning farms with fields to harvest the most wheat, or a ranger outpost with a forest tile to produce the most archers. On your journey, you will find two types of grids, as well as traditional genre staples like shops and rest stations. The unfamiliar is the resource grids and the battle grids. On the resource grids, you are trying to create lines which give you the resources of the blocks that are on the completed line. To maximize your harvesting of lumber and wheat, you will need to use specific blocks, which in this case would be a farm and a lumber mill. Then there are the battle grids. The gameplay is exactly the same with lining up the blocks, except now you will have military blocks to align for both you and the enemy force. Drop Duchy also offers plenty of gameplay depth. You need to properly build your deck, upgrade the right cards, collect new ones, unlock slots on your deck to bring the best hand. Once into the Tetris-inspired gameplay, you need to harvest as much resources as possible, which will keep the wheel of upgrades and unlocks turning. Battle rounds are the pinnacle of the strategy in Drop Duchy, as you will need to manage aligning blocks, optimizing resource gathering, maximizing your army output, and minimizing enemy forces, all at the same time. Once all of the blocks have been placed, you will also need to determine the order of battle between three different militia classes, as they use a rock, paper, scissors mechanic between the knight, the barbarian, and the archers. The best roguelites and deck builders are constantly dangling a new carrot in front of you with a strong sense of progression. With a game like Hades, you are constantly enticed with a new weapon or a new plotline to follow. With hundreds of cards, missions, upgrades, and 3 different classes, there is a lot to unlock. However, the speed at which these rewards are doled out, combined with how insignificantly certain items can affect gameplay, leads to Drop Duchy lacking that addictive and engaging gameplay loop needed. Slay the Spire, Inscription, Monster Train are some of the best in class, and they all have a plot to incentivize and pair with the engrossing gameplay. As much as Drop Duchy is inspired by the iconic Tetris formula, it forgets 2 of the biggest elements that made the original timeless: how simple and addictive Tetris was. However, what Drop Duchy lacks in these areas, it balances with innovation, strategic depth, and variety to provide an extremely unique experience that somehow adds meaningful change to a timeless genre. While Drop Duchy likely won't win over fans of roguelites, it provides strong value and plenty of reasons for fans of deck builders or strategy games to pick it up. That's all for today, but until next time, be good to your fellow gamer, but more importantly, be better to your fellow human.